Why does Phu Quoc Island, which is at Cambodia's doorstep, belong to Vietnam? It is well known that Vietnam monopolizes the Mekong River estuary, blocking Cambodia's access to the sea. It has become a thorn in Cambodia's side, but actually Vietnam has another island, directly at Cambodia's doorstep if a military base were established there. It would fully monitor Cambodia's maritime activities, leaving Cambodia powerless. This island is Phu Quoc. Phu Quoc is Vietnam's largest island. Its environment is exceptionally favorable, and it is a tourist destination in Vietnam. However, if you just look at a map, many people might not think Phu Quoc belongs to Vietnam, as geographically speaking. Phu Quoc lies entirely on the Cambodian side, only 5 kilometers from Cambodia's Ma Island. The northernmost point is only 11 kilometers from Cambodia's coast, very close. But it is 40 kilometers away from Vietnam's mainland. So why does this island belong to the more distant Vietnam rather than the nearby Cambodia? Phu Quoc is located in the Gulf of Thailand in southern Vietnam. It is about 50 kilometers long from north to south and up to 25 kilometers wide from east to west, resembling a triangle. Its area is approximately 589 square kilometers. Slightly smaller than the island nation Singapore, it ranks 4th among China's islands. Phu Quoc belongs to Phu Quoc City in Can Ho Province, Vietnam. It is Vietnam's only island city, with towns such as Duong Dong, Can Ninh, and An Thu on the island. The current population of Phu Quoc is about 100,000. When it comes to the issue of Phu Quoc's ownership, one must mention the complex relationship between Vietnam and Cambodia. Geographically speaking, on the Indochina Peninsula, these two countries are closely related. The two countries share a 1,137-kilometer border. Vietnam controls the eastern part of the Indochina Peninsula. It borders the South China Sea with a total land area of 330,000 square kilometers. Although slightly smaller than Yunnan province in China, it is still a significant country globally. After all, Japan's territory is only 378,000 square kilometers. South Korea is even smaller, at only 103,000 square kilometers. Vietnam's territory is quite unique. The northern and southern ends have large areas, forming two major river delta regions. The north is the Red River Delta, the south is the Mekong River Delta, and the central area is particularly narrow. From a distance, it looks like an elongated hourglass. And these are the two most developed regions in Vietnam. These are the two river mouth deltas, represented by Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. They are also the areas with the highest population density in Vietnam. Cambodia, however, is much smaller, with an area of only 181,000 square kilometers. It is equivalent to the size of Guangdong province in China, but historically, Cambodia was once an ancient and powerful empire, especially the Khmer Empire in the 12th century. Once occupied most of the Indo-Chinese peninsula, including most of present-day Laos and Thailand, as well as the Mekong River Delta and Phu Quoc Island, which were all part of Cambodia. But the good days for Cambodia did not last long. Starting from the 5th-10th century, Cambodia fell into decline due to repeated invasions by the rising Siam. In order to counterbalance Siam, the king of Cambodia at the time married a princess from the Nguyen dynasty in the southern region of Vietnam. As a dowry, he allowed Vietnamese people to live in the area of today's Ho Chi Minh City. After that, Vietnamese people began to enter the Mekong River Delta in large numbers and gradually took control of the area in practice. At the same time, our country entered the Ming and Qing dynasties. Those who have watched The Deer and the Cauldron know, in the early years of the Qing dynasty, many Han Chinese were unwilling to accept Qing rule. Some raised the banner of anti-Qing and pro-Ming, while others fled overseas. Ma Zhu, a person from Guangdong, was one of them. Ma Zhuxian led his family to Cambodia. Due to his business skills, he quickly became a wealthy merchant. Later, he also gained the king's favor. Taking this opportunity, Ma Zhu asked the king to send him to develop the Mangkan in the Mekong River Delta. He used this as his base, built it into a port surrounded by mountains, known as the famous Hiken town. After decades of development, it had become a large commercial port with military defense capabilities and high autonomy. It was essentially an independent kingdom. At this time, Phu Quoc Island was officially under the jurisdiction of the core town. However, as Cambodia continued to weaken, Heken, a small border state without natural defenses but rich in resources, became a target for Siam. Siam even once captured Heken and took Ma Zhu prisoner. Helpless, Mao had no choice but to seek other support. He went to Vietnam, which was expanding in the Mekong Delta. Phu Quoc Island also became a vassal of Vietnam with He Chian. During the unification of North and South, Phu Quoc Island became an important military base for the Nguyen dynasty. Therefore, the value of this island was significant for Vietnam. Cambodia was naturally dissatisfied with Vietnam's behavior of taking over. However, at that time, Cambodia was increasingly weak and could only swallow its anger. After the French occupied Vietnam and Cambodia, the puppet king of Cambodia once asked France for sovereignty over the Mekong Delta, but was rejected. To compensate Cambodia, France redrew the borders between Cambodia and Vietnam, giving Phu Quoc Island to Cambodia. The rest remained under Vietnam. However, Vietnam had managed Phu Quoc Island for over 100 years, making it difficult for Cambodia to intervene easily. This way of France's mediating sowed the seeds for future territorial disputes between Cambodia and Vietnam. In the mid-20th century, France ended its rule in Indochina. This region entered a period of chaos. In the 1970s, Cambodia and Vietnam had a territorial dispute, and Cambodia once occupied Phu Quoc Island. But it was soon recaptured by Vietnam and occupied the entire territory of Cambodia. Phu Quoc Island was firmly held by Vietnam. Later, Vietnam spared Cambodia, but did not let go of Phu Quoc Island. The weak Cambodia could only watch as Phu Quoc Island, just outside its doorstep, became the largest island of another country. Although it desperately wanted to recover its homeland, Cambodia, being weak, had no voice.